We just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, every single day, without question. Please watch the first two episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
I'm just a poor boy from Liverpool. I'm just a poor boy from Liverpool.
Good evening, everyone. It's History Tonight. Yeah. With the wonderful... I have to say this, you know. He's giving me a script and he says, Frank, will you say, with the wonderful artist, Anthony Brown? So I said, oh, okay. So it's scripted. It's the only thing that's scripted by saying, yeah, it's History Tonight with the wonderful artist, Mr. Anthony Brown. So that's it. So I'll have to bring him on because he said, will you bring me on right away when you say Mr. Wonderful? I said, yes. And there he is now, Mr. Wonderful himself.
I nearly fell off my chair then.
How are you,
Anthony? We are amused. Thank you, Francis. Yeah. I'm good. Thank you. I'm good. A little stressed at the edges, but I'm not looking at the edges. No. Good.
Oh, yeah. Look, we've got an Italian in, actually. A proper Italiano.
Oh.
Hang on. I'll just say to Barry here. Evening, Frank and Anthony.
Good evening, Barry.
Yeah, there he is. It's Retto Fiato. Is it? It's the Fiato. Yeah. Retto. What a name. Retto Fiato. Hey, what a name. On the Italian flag, the Azzurri flag.
Yes.
The wonderful flag. Buonasera a tutti esseri circondati da persone che dicono sempre di sì a poco valore.
You'll have to, yeah, because I'm of the Irish variation of.
Right underneath his belly. Buonasera, Franco e Antonio.
Beautiful. Bella. And thank you, Bella. Good evening.
That's our poet, isn't it? Bella is our poet.
Our poet, and oh God, yeah, just the spirit of the show.
I'm very serious. I'm not usually first on. I should be privileged. And lovely little Johnny. Good evening, Frank, Anthony, and lovely chat. Isn't that lovely?
That's a wonderful way to start the show, isn't it?
Yes.
Wonderful way, Gaffer.
And there's the man with the most exotic name. It's like our friend there, you know, the Italian.
Yeah.
Anyway, where's he got? There he is. Cedric. Is it? Where is he? Yes. Our lovely Cedric. He's here. And yeah, you know, it's good, isn't it? You know, big up legends. Isn't that lovely?
Everyone's a legend on this show, Cedric.
Including yourself, mate. And Linda says, evening, Frank and Anthony. Did you see my message regarding John Tushak? No, I haven't. To be honest, I haven't read any messages, emails, or anything for the past few days. To be honest, I'm awfully
I saw
sorry.
Laney told me a little bit of a news flash, but the great John Tushak, sadly, he's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's.
I know I know that he was bad. Was it last year? And he's got Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh, so sorry to him. And my old mate, Steve Holland, he says, "Hi, Anton and Frank. I went to the new pub, the Queen's Arms on Victoria Street. It used to be a Pizza Express, and someone told me it used to be a Spanish bank."
Wow.
I'll have to look at that because there's a few banks there, you know, ex-banks going back years ago, that's become pubs and, you know, whatever. So I'll have to have a look myself.
It's brilliant. Steve, did it feel like a pub? Did it feel like what we would call a pub? Or was it a wine bar with bling and ching? I love pubs. I love pubs in the centre of town, and it's such a sadness when they go.
You see, it's Steve Holland. He's a good friend, actually. If he took a picture of her, because I can't move, as you know.
Yeah.
And if he took a picture of it, sent it through, I'd be able to tell him if it was a Spanish bank. But there were banks, because I'll tell you why there were banks, especially Spanish and even Italian bank, by the way. An Italian bank was there. Because in Castle Street, that's where all the businesses were, all the insurance people. And as you know about exchange flags. So when people, you're talking people from different countries who were doing business here in Liverpool during the 19th century. And they had to open the banks because there was, say, like Spanish businessmen here doing business. That's why Liverpool was so important for trade.
Yes.
So important.
Yeah, and yet in modern times, it's only really Old Hall Street that's been classed as the business sector. But it was all pretty much all of that, wasn't it? From Old Hall Street right the way through to the town hall. With all commerce and export and import and trade.
Yep. Everything went on in this city. Everything. I was watching something there, AI about Liverpool, you know, being from the origins when we got on it, and it was a load of nonsense. You know, it said that we got it, and another myth about how we got our name. How we got our name, and it was muddy waters. Oh, you know what I feel about that? What it was King John. And he said, as antiquary, he went around the country, you know, asking people, all these barons and earls, what do you think of King John? And some of them said, he's awful, you know, he keeps taxing us. And others were saying he's a great king. He's a good king. He's a good king. Anyway, an antiquary came up to Liverpool and they were looking down. And what would have been that? What was happening for, well, to be honest, 1,000 years? 1,000 years was that the River Dee, Chester, was always, it was silting up from the Roman period 2,000 years before. So it started to silt up. And with the likes of the country always having, well, they're always at war, you know, with the French or the Spanish and even the Irish, by the way, at this time. He decided this fella, this antiquary belonging to King John, he viewed a creek from a place called Hyerton, right, which is Old English for Everton, high grounds, high town, Hyerton. So he viewed it. And when he got back to the other fella, King John, he said about this particular place, he said, listen, he said, Chester's always silting up. He said, so to embark and disembark troops, if need be, it could take a long while. He said, but there's a creek there. There's a river. And another river coming off the river. I'll explain that in a moment. And he said, that'll be ideal because it doesn't silt up. And he said, well, what's the name of this place? He said, well, there's no name. They haven't got a name. He said, and, you know, there's a couple of fishermen who go down to a place they call the Pool. And they just said no one owns the land. Nobody owns it. And he said, you know, if you want to claim it for the realm, for our ships to embark and disembark troops, he said, just do it. So he said, okay. He said, well, what else is there? Because there's already a pool, if you know what I mean, a town pool. And he said, well, there's lots of laver strewn about, tons of it. Now, laver is an old Anglo-Saxon word meaning seaweed. So he said, well, okay, we'll call it Liverpool. And that's what we were called, Liverpool. Hyphenated as well, Liverpool, seaweed, pool. And as time went on, you know, just clicked together and became Liverpool. And it wasn't muddy waters. And that's annoying. And this AI thing. And they built a castle. That's why they built a castle for troops to embark and disembark if need be.
Yeah.
If need be. And they got to an old Roman thing in Everton, where the actual antiquary before, you know, had viewed what we call Liverpool today. And he's seen an old Roman tower in Everton, where St. George's Church is now today. And he said, this would be ideal. This would be ideal. It's where our kid lives now. Beacon Lane, because it was known as the Beacon, this tower that the Romans built.
Yeah.
And it was used as a semaphore as well. Well, the Romans used it as a semaphore, you know, as they were touring around the country.
Yeah.
A fellow by the name of Ptolemy. circumnavigating the country for the Romans to come over.
You know, I am so glad you mentioned that. I'm really hoping one night that we do a what the Romans did for us show, particularly of the north. Particularly of we know Chester. I think most people know the Chester, and it's you associate Romans with Chester, but obviously we were part of that as well. We fell into that mission, if you like, or that first journey.
And Cedric says he's not staying, but just wanted to say hi, thank you. I know he's gone now.
Good evening, you're still there. Thanks, son.
Evening, everyone, says Lindsay Ellis.
Brilliant, Linda. Good evening to you.
And as she says there, John Toshak has dementia. It's shocking. It's shocking.
No,
How much, through the years, Anthony, how much dementia has gone on? And it wasn't even heard of through the years.
You know what? We didn't put a name on it, but you know what is obviously there are programs made, and when we get to the level of sportsmanship we're talking about with John Toshak, and many others, and the association with sport and head injuries and dementia stuff.
Yeah. Well, do you ever remember boxers becoming punch drunk?
Yeah. And that was
I'm sorry, go on.
That was a free expression that we used all the time. We didn't really understand what it meant.
No.
Again,
that's
in the day. Yeah.
I used to know a boxer by the name of Robbie Davis from over there in Birkenhead. Lovely fella. And he used to say, I'm punchy. You should come out and say it. I'm punchy. But he was a nice fella, was Robbie. He's well past now. And Bella says, hi family, hope you're all well. Isn't that lovely?
That is lovely. Yeah.
And Mulholland Stay says, it looks amazing inside.
Fantastic, Steve. Yeah.
And the Pat says, I was at St. George's Hall last Monday and was reading all the statues of the Lords. I kept thinking the things Frank would be able to tell us. I do know, to be honest. It's when I brought Prince Charles around at the time. And I didn't want to bring him around, but anyway, I was forced to. And give him his due, he knew a hell of a lot about Liverpool. Because I said to his PR, I said, did he read up on the way? Yeah. He said, no. He said, he just knows Liverpool. Loves the place, he said. Loves the place. And the cop father. Big up, Frank. Hey, cop father. This is a history show tonight, boys. I've got one tomorrow night, the football show. I've got a football show tonight, tomorrow night. This is all about history.
How was the news about Mo leaving? Met last night on the show.
Well, I was seeing the show. I was live. I didn't know nothing about it. And then I was coming through. Now, I've always advocated Mo Salah.
Yeah.
And I've always said that Slot didn't win the Premiership. it was most salary. You know I've said that all along. It was
all the
most
time.
salary,
Yeah,
not a slot. And
yeah,
people were on Mo's back. And I said to you tonight, they've got short memories, these people. Very short memories. And I asked, how could a man, world class at his profession, all of a sudden, overnight, become below average player? It's impossible. And the
no,
question is, why? How did it happen? So you look somewhere else. You look at like systems. I'll tell you what it's like, Anthony. I'll tell you what it's like. When I was at college, there used to be a physicist teacher. Physicist. And we used to have to go in. I was hopeless, man. I've always been hopeless at maths and things, you know. But anyway, we used to have to sit in there. And I seen him years later. Years. And I'm talking, it must have been 15 years ago. I seen him. No, it was longer. 20 years ago, must have been. Must have been 20 years ago. And I was talking to him, you know, and I said, oh, yeah. And I said, oh, yeah, how are you? He says, I'm so proud of what you've become. That's what he said to me. So anyway, I said, well, when did you retire? He said, I got out quickly, he said. Now, this is, Anthony, a physicist. And he said to me, I got out, I took retirement. He said, albeit that they wanted to keep me on. He said, but as soon as we had to start learning computerism, he said, I just couldn't do it. So it's like that. It's like systems. And if you can't do it, if you can't hack it, and this is what this Arnie Slot's done, brought in a new system. Remember when I said about Virgil van Dijk looking bewildered?
yes,
He, you know, like in my profession, I used to have to look at people. Not that you've... now, don't forget, these were going in for exams. And it's not that they were, you know, I don't know that question. It's the look of bewilderment. It's not just a question. It's what behind everything.
Yeah.
Bewilderment. So I used to pull them to one side and explain, like what I was lecturing about. I used to have to. But it helped because they were bewildered. They were bewildered about the lecture. They were bewildered about what I said, going to, you know, like your homework and whatever, your essays, and get it in. So they didn't know what to put in. And I just said, listen, put this in, put that in, and put that in. And they just said, thank you so much. And Virgil van Dijk looked bewildered in a few games this season because he didn't know what to do. He just didn't know what to do. And he became from one of the best centre halves, or centre backs as they call them, in world football, to being ordinary, an average player.
Yeah, he did. And he has something beyond the player facilities, which is the ability to compose and gather his teammates. He's got that strength.
Yeah.
When I heard it last night, I was just saddened, Frank. I was just saddened because you and I privately had talked
to me as I was broadcasting.
Well,
and I was on my own.
You know, Yeah.
But I'm glad that,
It's
people can look back and say about, like I did that recorded one, and it was,
yes.
Mo Salah wasn't even mentioned about leaving or at the hint of leaving. And I was talking about Mo as well. I was talking about Mo, the great Mo, great legend, in that particular recorded video that I did.
Yes.
But anyway, the whale. Hello, Frank and Anthony. Hiya, whale.
The whale. Evening whale.
And the lovely Bella. The Queen's Arms on Victoria Street in Liverpool was originally a branch of Lloyd's Bank built in the 1820s, not a Spanish bank.
Okay, Bella. This is what I love about any of these Frank's pods, because we're all educated. We all get something. Brilliant.
Toscana. Want to say that, Frank, Anthony, and chatters? Hope you're all well. Hiya, Toscana.
Hiya, Toscana. We are well if you are well.
And Marcella, I think that's right. She's talking about the bank.
Yes.
She's
Yes.
talking about the
Well,
bank.
we'll have to go back to school and tell you on Monday. If it's not right, you get lines or detention.
And you get kicked in by Anthony.
No, never. No.
No, never. And Steve says that bar is next to the Pacific Chambers. Wow. I'll have to send you some pictures, Frank. I'll have a look at them. Jason's not here for a break, is he?
Not sure. He sent a message before to say he would be late. Didn't say he wouldn't be late. We'll see. But we'll have him for Monday, maybe, or whenever.
Jeez. Let's see. I just want to see if our lovely Marcella's right as well. I'll just have a look at this at least. Steve Mulholland's. There it is. Yeah. What's he like? I'm just looking at this thing now.
Yeah.
What's all this fucking thing? You press it on, and it's got get, Outlook, get, and ridiculous. That's all. I can't look at it, Steve. Sorry. Can I? What the fuck's this? It's got on celebrity there. Anyway, sorry there, Steve. But I will get it up. It takes too long to come up with all these stupid
This is
things.
a nice piece by Donna there.
And Donna says, yeah, Frank, as you know, I live in Everton. I'm really interested in hearing more about the Romans.
Me too.
The Romans it's absolutely amazing because, righty, can I just go down here and say hello to everyone? And I'll tell you why the Romans came to Britain in AD 42. Is that okay?
That's great. Yeah.
And you always have to have a motive to come, to invade. Even today, you've only got to look at Trump. Now, what's his motive? His motive is they're trying to make it, they're making a bomber, a nuclear bomber ran. And they've been making it for 40 years. They've been saying that for 40 years. Oh, they're making a bomb, they're making a bomb, they're making a bomb, nuclear bomb. They haven't. And they weren't. So you always need a motive to do something to another country. They did it with Venezuela, didn't they?
Yeah, that was a very, very, very dirty, disgusting, snidey, and deceitful motive. But yes, they did.
He said that he was sending in drugs into America. That was the motive to go in. So I'll tell you later on why the Romans came in and their motive.
Yeah.
And Steve says, thank you, Bella Italia. That's Marcella. You should be.
Yeah. There's a comments on the Victoria Arms.
And Linda says, I worked in a nursing home. Some had dementia, but it is this nursing home called it. Hang on.
Yes.
But it is this nursing home called it. People who lost their mind. Yeah, that's the way it was. And I tell you another word as well, that which I first heard of was senile.
Yes.
And Toscana, that's so sad about John Tasha. Met him years ago, such a nice fella. Yeah, Tosh. Yeah. Ali, our Romanian friend. Good evening. Good evening, Ali.
Good evening, Ali.
Ciao, Toscana. Evening, Frank, Anthony, and chat, says TW.
Good evening, TW.
That lovely.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, look, good job. You see, listen, Anthony, you know, I know that you were calling Jason for everything, and I said to you, didn't I, whatever you do, don't call him just in case he sneaks in, because you said he's going to be late anyway, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because there he is. Look, he sneaked in, and I think, good job you never said anything bad about him again. And she says, like and subscribe, please. Thank you. Thank you so much, T. Really appreciate it, you know.
I wouldn't mind a grouse and Coke or a cup of tea, Chase.
I'm home if you need anything, gents. Evening all. Grouse. I'm a grouse. And Bella says, ciao Toscana, io sto molto bene, spero che tu bene anche tu. You know, I hope you're also well. She's well. And she's saying, I hope you're well too.
Oh, that might be good.
It is, isn't it? Anyway, Jason says, I can get Steve's pics up on here if you want. Yeah, please. Mamma mia. Good to hear the news about Tosh. Says, yeah. Yeah. It really is. Was born in Everton.
Yeah.
Says Linda.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad's neck of the woods, Everton. up the hill. My mum's Scotland Road, down the hill. Yeah.
Do you know in ancient Britain,
Yeah.
you had the likes of Boudica, didn't you? Now, her husband's name was Praxiteles. Yeah,
Yeah.
Praxiteles. And you had tribes all around, and they were always warring with each other, warring factions, right?
Yeah.
And you had a tribe called the Trinovantes, and they just carried on with life. Just put a picture up. You wanted a grouse?
I love it. Couldn't eat a whole one, but
That's for Anthony. Brilliant.
I love coming on here.
So anyway, say good job that you never said anything about them. You know, call them for everything as you do. But or you wouldn't have got your grouse.
He knows that's not true, otherwise he wouldn't have supplied the gun.
Absolutely, Anthony.
That's at least a litre, that one.
Absolutely. See, the way you are, you have to come on one night, or whenever, with your old altar boy. When you were an altar boy. I come mine.
I never got in that club, and my mum kicked up a storm because they wouldn't allow me in the Scouts. When we moved to Liverpool, we came over here over the water. It is a different world. Liverpool is 500 yards ahead in everything. And everything outside of Liverpool is slowed up. Oh, doesn't that look fantastic? Those church benches there.
I wish I could see the outside. It's not trials, is it? Used to be trials.
There you go.
No, that wasn't done in the 1920s. That's Victorian. I'll tell you later on. Jason, are we having a break? Please. Let me know if we're having a break later on. Be careful, Franco and Antonio. I'm a black belt in martial arts now.
Oh, Billy, I've got 4 black belts and a brown one on my jeans at the moment.
I've got a couple of black belts myself.
Yeah. I've had a couple of black eyes. If that's any good.
Yes, same as myself. And Jason says, I can do a break, mate. Yep.
Oh, Jason's going to go break dancing or something now.
Hang on a minute. This is in Victoria. Steve Mulholland's and even Jason. Can you let me know if this is in Victoria Street, this particular building, please? Anyway, getting back to AD 43, this little thing called Trinovantes, there was a fella by the name of Toggy Jobness. And he was always causing ructions, you know. He wanted to take over the tribe. And there was another fellow by the name of Caraticus. And he was a nuisance because prior to that, in 37 BC, Julius Caesar, who we all know, Julius Caesar, what happened to him was he was called back to Rome, but he didn't want to go back to Rome. So what he decided to do was make an excuse by attacking Britannicus. So he asked Crassus, a fellow named Crassus, senator, for the money to attack. He said, I don't want to go back to Rome. I want to go back with a great victory. So he said, all right, I'll do that. All right. So anyway, they gave him, Crassus gave him money, and he came over. And he crossed Oceanus Britannicus, which is the English Channel, as we know today. And he stopped at a place in Sussex called Pevensey. So they all got out. But what was greeting them with all these ancient Britons waiting for them, you know, they seen them coming over. And the cavalry belonging to Caesar, they were swept away. So he came up to them and went, listen, boys, sorry, but I only want to trade with you. So that invasion became a trading place, a trading campaign. You see, albeit that he was going to conquer Britain. Anyway, he went around then, but what he was looking at as well were dissidents from the likes of Gaul, Hispania, Germanica. Dissidents, you know, he got away from the Roman occupation and crossed over the river, you know, the Oceanus Britannicus, the English Channel, to get to here. And they started making up tribes like the Parisi, the likes of the Iceni, because they all had strange names, not like, you know, names today. And they all belonged to, most of them, the majority of them belonged to the likes of Hispania, the likes of Gaul, the likes of Germanica. These tribes. And they were always vying for land. So anyway, he went around and he started to make what you call client kingdoms. Client kingdoms. To trade. And people were great. One of the biggest tribes that went from the lowlands of Scotland right down the middle of England, from the lowlands of Scotland right down the middle of England, like say around to the Birmingham Midlands way now today, was I'll come back to them in a bit moment because it's very important. Very important.
Yeah.
And they were the main tribe. And they had a queen. So anyway, what had happened was there was this Toggy Jobness. And as I said, he was causing, you know, all kinds of problems. And so was this Caraticus, because through his tribe and through his family, they never liked the Romans. Never liked them. And he always had a grievance against them. He always had a grievance. So Toggy Dobness, he was more or less put to the sword. More or less put to the sword. And he said, okay, here's what's going to happen. There was a fellow by the name of Vericus. Vericus. And he was a member of the Trinovantes. And this Toggy Dobness, you know, he was getting on it, but he wanted to take over. He wanted to take over the Trinovantes. You had another tribe called the Regni. And there was a fellow by the name of Coggy Dobness. He was the leader of the Regni. And they didn't like to be upset because of the trade, because of these fellas just didn't like the Romans. So they sent over a fellow by the name of Vericus to Rome. This is well after, this is in AD 42. So they said to Claudius, listen, Emperor Claudius, can you help us? We've got to get rid of these dissidents. We've got to get rid of these people, especially a fellow by the name of Caraticus. We've got to get rid of them. Please help us. So we said, okay. Now, Claudius, the Praetorian Guards elevated him.
Yeah.
From Caligula. When Caligula was assassinated. So anyway, he was elevated by the Praetorian Guard, and he wasn't a military man. So, but the Roman citizens always wanted a leader who was a military man, a great leader of the military, because they felt safe, you see.
Yeah.
So anyway, they said this is an ideal opportunity for the emperor to have something behind him if we did go into Britannia. Yeah. So they said, okay, let's do it. So they came over, AD 43, and they were led by 4 legions. And one of the legions was to Augusta. And it was unbelievable simply because these particular people, the 2 Augusta, were a crack. We call them regiments, don't we? But they were a crack legion led by a 20-year-old general. And he became one of my favorite emperors of the Roman Empire, and his name was Vespasian. And he led them to victory. He actually led them to victory. And also what you had the likes of Boudica. Remember Prasutagus? Well, he died. And Prasutagus and his tribe, the Iceni, they were client kings to Rome. They always traded. But unfortunately, when Prasutagus died, the status of client kingdom was taken away from them because it was a woman. And they said, listen, we're sorry. But she didn't like that. So she set up an army to take on the Romans. And what you heard about, she was a great leader and, she all this. And, you've got to take that with a pinch of salt. because the Romans annihilated them, the Iceni. And as I mentioned about, there was a tribe called the Brigantes that went from the lowlands right down to the Midlands. This tribe, they were a powerful tribe. Now, they were a client kingdom to the Romans. And the client kingdom, Queen Cartamandua, who never gets mentioned, by the way, never gets mentioned. And she was married to to a fella by the name of Venutius. And Venutius hated the Romans like Caratacus. So Caratacus was going around each tribe, Asian tribe, saying, listen, the Romans are coming, let's fight them. And he became a nuisance, Caratacus, to the Romans. So anyway, he gets the Queen Cartamandua and Venutius, and he said, the Romans are coming. And Venutius said to his wife, Queen Cartamandua, they are locked, they're coming to destroy us. And she said, no, they're not. The traitors. So what she did, she got hold of Caratacus and locked him up, held him prisoner. And she says, I'm handing you over to the Romans.
Wow.
Venutius, he turned around and went, you what? I wonder if he was a scouser. He said, you what? What are you locking him up for?
As you would.
As you would. As you would. So anyway, that split the old Brigantes. Because he said, I'm going to take them on. But he had to get away from where they were, more or less stations, the Queen Cartamandua. Yeah. Because Queen Cartamandua, she just wanted a trade. She was helping her people.
Yeah.
She was helping her people through trade. If you know what I mean.
Yes, perfect.
With foods and everything. And they were trading with wheat. He was giving them wheat. They were giving us different kinds of trade. They were incredible, the Romans. So Venutius, he went, okay, I'll come back to you, he said, to his wife, Cartamandua. Now, what do you think happened? She handed him over. She handed over Caratacus. So what do you think happened when the Romans got hold of this fella who was a nuisance to them? What do you think happened to them?
Killed him?
Well, that's it, you see. People think that the Romans were these vicious savages. And they weren't. Because what they did, they brought him over to Rome. And they were going, look at this fella, we got him, we got a leader of, they exaggerated what he was. A great warrior, fighting the Romans, this man. But here he is in chains, and they paraded him around on a cart, They paraded him around Rome. And did they execute him? No. They actually gave him a villa and a pension. How about that?
Wow. Wow, I did not see that coming.
No, no one does. And, they think that the likes of the Romans were, a bunch of savages. They weren't. They weren't. They never liked, I'll tell you who they didn't like in this country, the Druids. They hated Druids. Do you know why they hated Druids? Because the Druids sacrificed people. Midsummer solstice.
Yeah.
When the sun came up, midsummer, they used to sacrifice people. That's why you've got Stonehenge. Do you ever remember Tess of the D'Urbervilles?
Yes.
Where was Tess killed?
Yeah.
She was
Stonehenge.
killed on one of the stones, a sacrificial stone.
Wow.
And they hated the Druids for human sacrifices.
I mean,
And they
that,
cornered them. They surrounded them and pushed them all up. And do you know where they pushed them to? Anglesey. They said, don't you move. Don't move from there. You're not welcome. That's what they said to the Druids because of the human sacrifices. It was a crazy world at the time. It's not a crazy world today.
yes.
Shall we have a quick break?
I'm
We'll
up
make
for
this
tell you what, yeah. Yeah.
Great. I hope RGA's listening.
As a young boy, when I used to come down here to the Pierhead to get on the ferry to go over to New Brighton, I used to see this statue. It wasn't the colour as it was now. It was green. And in 2008, getting ready for the capital of culture, it was restored to the bronze as you see today. It's all right about me going on when I was a little lad, but I never even mentioned who this fella was on horseback. It's Edward VII. Edward was the eldest of Queen Victoria's children, and he waited many, many years to finally become king. And we all know in 1887, Queen Victoria celebrated her Diamond Jubilee, 60 years ruling. However, in 1901, Queen Victoria died, and Edward VII was finally king. The statue was finally unveiled in 1916 in the middle of World War I. And there was throngs of people, thousands upon thousands of people, waiting here, the Pierhead, for it to be unveiled. And the sculptor was Sir William Gascon. More on streets and statues of Liverpool, and you're going to love this because this is a quirky little thing, and it's John King's 1998 A Case History. So when people actually come along Hope Street, they stop, admire, and obviously make comments. But what's it all about? Well, we know that Liverpool's a great port, and people, whether they're students or migrants, come and go. Hence, a case history. Oh, and by the way, there are some names on the cases. I don't think you'll know who they are. From a case history to a street I'm going to take you to now, people think there's a link. Pilgrim Street, an unassuming street near the cathedral, but with a big history. At one end, you've got one cathedral, and at the other end, you've got another cathedral, and in between, you've got a pub. What more do you need? Pilgrim Street has nothing at all to do with the case history in Hope Street. Nothing whatsoever. Here's the story. In the 1780s, there was a privateer named Jameson, and he captured a French prize ship worth £190,000, the equivalent of millions today. He captured it in the Caribbean, and then he brought the prize ship into Barbados. The privateer Jameson made his way back to Liverpool, where he went to the council, as it was then, and he asked if he could build a house, which he did. He built a big house, and they named the street after him. Therefore, it became Jameson Street. However, as time went on, they decided not to call it Jameson Street anymore. They decided to call it Pilgrim Street, because Jameson's ship that captured the French prize ship was named the Pilgrim. Hence, there is no link between Pilgrim Street and the case history in Hope Street. Good job the cathedral wasn't built while Jameson was living here. He wouldn't have got a wink of sleep with the bells. Here we are in Castle Street, and people every single day walk past this little gem. The British Maritime Insurance Building was built by George Grayson in 1882, and what's depicted on it is not only the maritime sailing ships, but also the very first steamship that sailed out of Liverpool, which was Isambard Kingdom Brunel's Great Eastern. Incidentally, how many of the 45,000 people that pack Liverpool Football Club every home game know that the mast that's on the Kop end is actually the mast from the Great Eastern? The mosaic frieze on the building depicts from 1207 the sailing ships right up to the first steamship, which was Great Eastern. For well over 100 years in the business quarter of the city, it still goes unnoticed by the passerby.
Those videos are absolutely mind-blowing. I love them. Do you think that Queen Victoria's love of the city was kind of bestowed on the descendants of the royal family, going down to Charles?
I'm glad you said that, because Queen Victoria did like Liverpool. Because he said me, what did he call it to me? He calls it Great Mama or something like that. Like the city of Liverpool. As we were talking, before we started going, I'm talking about Charles here. So she liked it, yeah, and she loved the St. George's Hall. Absolutely, I loved it.
Because Charles was so passionate about St. George's Hall, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah, passionate about it. And she gave her chandelier to the hall for the concert room.
Wow.
Concert room. She gave a chandelier to.
Is that still there now?
Still there today.
Is it?
You know, they
Okay.
converted it from gas to electricity, obviously.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And she was amazed at the hall itself. And what people don't realise is that you can actually see her on a frieze depicted on, the Walker Gallery. The Walker Gallery is incredible. And rather than say now, but what I'm going to do with the help of you, Drew Schofield, and a couple of other great people, Dave Kirby, who will be interviewing, hopefully in the summer, because I'll be doing the final video of Liverpool, and it'll be good. It'll be good.
It will be.
Uh, I'll be showing the
legendary.
buildings that people miss out on. So they'll be able to see. It'll just go straight on YouTube. Right on YouTube, it'll go. And, all the depictions that people, don't even see. The likes of that particular mosaic in Castle Street.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there'll be things like that people miss out on.
Yeah.
And, these are buildings as well. I'll be talking to a couple of actors, only for a few minutes, because they are pivotal to the character of Liverpool, as you know.
Yeah.
I'll be talking to a writer or two who are pivotal for the character of Liverpool in the written word, if you know what I mean.
Oh, the most powerful tool.
Yeah, so, this is what I'm going to do. This is what hopefully I'll be doing in the summer.
Yeah.
And it'll be giving Liverpool in a great light. And I mean a great light. Remember, we had Mr. Friedman on, who did Scouse Not English.
Yes.
Terence Friedman.
Yeah. Brilliant. What a young visionary he was too.
Well, it'll be similar to that. Yeah, he was a visionary. Now, it'll be similar to that, but it'll be more of the city centre. It'll be more of highlighting people who were fantastic for the city, who made the city grow right up to today, with the likes who I've mentioned.
Yeah.
About a couple of writers, a couple of actors, and I'll be talking to one actor who even Stephen Graham said to me, he's the greatest actor to come out of Liverpool. And
Totally.
Who's that, you reckon?
I reckon that will be a forever young gentleman from Kirby called Andrew Schofield.
That's him. That's him. An incredible actor.
Yes.
An incredible actor.
Incredible person. It's just Frank, that is one tremendous gift that you're going to put out there with that. Will it include kind of a gentle myth busting?
Yes. 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 It's like, I'll give you one myth that, is, I'll just give you one, for example. St. George's Hall, being built back to front. But that's a great myth, because people, He says, "Oh, it was built back to front because it should have been leading down into the gardens. You know, the big staircase,
Yeah.
the steps, not the staircase, the steps. They should have been leading into the gardens. The steps, that is, that leads onto the plateau. Well, the hall was finished in 1854, and where the gardens was a church called St. John's Church that had nothing at all to do with the land that St. George's Hall was built on. That had nothing to do with it. And it wasn't until 1806 that the church was knocked down, St. John's Church. And the bodies that were there was a cemetery, it was a massive cemetery. And below the feet, even today, there was a fellow by the name of Shelmerdine, and he was brought in. He was a great architect, was Shelmerdine. And he said, "Can you landscape this?" And he said, "I'll do it as a garden." Hence St. John's Gardens.
Wow.
And below the feet that people walk on, there are still 2,000 French prisoners of war still buried there. 2,000. They couldn't pick them up. They couldn't, not like the English, because the English had families and they were reinterred somewhere. But they had to leave the French. And when you go into St. John's Gardens, there's a big plaque. I tried to film it, but the lettering wouldn't come out.
I saw it. Yeah.
And it's both in French and English. Sorry, Anthony.
No, I saw your photographs of that, and I privately with talks. It's heartbreaking, really, because there will be French people, families that come across and say that's where your ancestors are buried, and I just wish that there was a proper memorial, readable, legible, on that side.
Isn't it brilliant? Oh, look at tennis. Tennis, the paparak there, look. And it is. There's the church, see? That's the outlay of the gardens.
Yeah.
And there is still incredible bodies still buried there. Thomas Shelmerdine designed it. Do you know what else he also designed, which you'll be familiar with, Anthony? You know Sefton Park?
Yeah.
Have you seen the mock Tudor buildings that are surrounded?
Yeah, I have.
Well, he designed them. He designed those particular mock Tudors. Great. His brother, Henry, he designed, I think it's beautiful, and he left it, which is incredible. You know, Exchange Station?
Yeah.
They left the facade. Thank God. They left the facade there. And they built inside it that you see today.
Wow.
That you see today. And they left the facade. So the Shelmerdines were brilliant.
Wow.
And we were talking about Rupert's Hill. Not Rupert's Hill, Beacon Lane.
Yes.
And St. George's Church. Well, facing St. George's Church, there's a library. And it's bloody well run down. And he built that. He designed and built that as well. Thomas Shelmerdine, who did the gardens there. Again, it's mock Tudor.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. There, look. Thank you, Jay.
Cheers, Jay. That is stunning.
Isn't that fabulous?
That's stunning.
They
Just
could have easily have knocked it down. But at least someone had the nous at the time to leave it. And they could have done that with the Futurist in Lime Street. They could have left it. They could have left the Futurist, because the Futurist, believe it or not, was the very first cinema built in the city centre. But look at that. Beautiful. And this is what I love about the Liverpool architecture. And what I'll do on my next one, I'm going to show something on there. Jason, I better not put it up or I'll kick his head in. I'll be showing that, Anthony, on the video when it comes out. I've got to show something that people just... I've pointed it out to people, like a good selfie in you and Laney when, walking past it. Yeah, I've seen that. No, you see. So it'll be things like that.
yeah.
That'll be pointed out on these beautiful buildings and facades. How about that?
That is just fantastic, Frank.
It's going to be my little legacy.
Yeah.
And you'll be on it. You'll be on it.
I am humbled.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You won't be humbled at all, because you're one of the most pivotal artists of Liverpool. You are, And I know that you don't like praise or anything, but praise is what you're getting. And you deserve, especially for the 100 heads. The 100 heads, which is phenomenal. Everybody. And when we do that exhibition, people are going to be blown away, because these are people we love, people that our chatters love, aren't they?
Yes, that is the main ingredient in what we do, isn't it? From now on, we've met the falseness, we've met the lied, we've met the... This is, from now on, it is for and with the good, because we can.
Of course it is. Of course it is, Anthony. And when you see things that are, magnificent to the eye, some things are not magnificent to the eye, but when they're explained, you go, whoa, I didn't realise that.
Yes.
I'll be showing something. I'm not going to tell you where it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is either. But I get a phone call one day, and it's some fella, businessman. And he said, I'm awfully sorry. He said, is this you? I said, yeah. And he said, listen, I scoured your name, and, someone kindly gave me your phone number. I hope you don't mind. I said, what's it about? And he asked me where he had his offices. And he said, people keep telling me that, there's something in where I work, where my offices are. But I don't know what they are. I don't know what it is. And I said, the only way I can, I said, if I met you personally. And he said, great. He said, tomorrow, are you free tomorrow? I said, strangely enough, yeah, I am. I'm free. He said, come down and have lunch. So I said, okay. So I went and had lunch with him. And I showed him this particular thing. He had his offices there for 18 years.
Wow.
And he didn't even know that this particular thing was there. And he just shook his head. He said, good God. You know, it's things like that
Yeah.
that really need to be filmed and pointed out. That's why, you know, people, they, even today, you know, they say, are you still doing any tours and whatever? And I said, well, can't now, unfortunately, the way I am. The way I am. And when I point things out, they're amazed. And I pointed out something to you, didn't I? And don't say what it is. In Castle Street to you and Laney, remember?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you were shocked.
Yeah.
And Laney. You know, so it's things like that, besides the building as well.
That's just fantastic. It's you were the first person that said to me, vocally said, we people in general walk around a city, not just Liverpool, but in particular we're talking about Liverpool, and you look at your phone and you look at the ground and you cross the road, you wait for the lights to change, but you're not looking up at the what we're seeing. We don't. We walk past so much on a daily basis, don't we?
Exactly. It's like the castle. You know,
Yeah.
people say, was there a castle here? Yeah, there was a castle here. And there's massive clues because you've got Castle Street of all places, Castle Street. And I had a group of people, including councillors at the time, and they asked me when we were coming up to the Capital Culture Year, and Story brought in these Manchester people. No disrespect towards Manchester people, but could you imagine their leader of Manchester asking a load of Scousers to come up and give the history during one of the most important events for the year, which was the Capital Culture? They wouldn't do that. No other city would do it, but we did. We brought in these Manchester people. And I had to go around giving them a history lesson. And I noticed a couple of our own councillors, and they were, and I said about the castle, and I said we had a castle on this site, and this fella said, I never said on this site. I'm sorry, here's what happened. I said Liverpool had a castle that was opened up in approximately 1234. Started by William de Ferris from Lancaster, who became the sheriff of Liverpool. Great honour for the new borough. Excuse me. So anyway, our councillor said, where was it? I said, well, have a guess where it was. Have a guess, just have a guess. And we were standing on the site of it, Anthony. And he said, and he went, Duke Street. I said, what? Where did he say? He said, Duke Street. I said, what made you say? I said, oh, that's fantastic, that. And he was, I should have seen him. He was like that, you know. I said, what made you say Duke Street? Did you know about it? And he went, well, you know, I know that dukes built castles. And I said to him, no, you're completely and utterly wrong. And his smirk went down. He felt embarrassed. because I don't like people like that. You haven't a clue about the history of Liverpool. I'm talking about people who are supposed to be in power, not ordinary people. Not ordinary people, if you know what I mean.
No, no, exactly what you mean.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, I said, well, look, I said, there's loads of clues here. And I said, look at Castle Street. Why is it named Castle Street? And no one answered. And I looked over and said, you see there, over there, look. I said, that's Back Castle Street. You can actually see Back Castle Street from here now. The name of it as well. So you've got Castle Street, you've got Back Castle Street. I said, look at that building there. Told them who built it. I said, what's the name of it? And this fella said, the same councillor said, Castle Moat House. I said, precisely. I said, why is it called Castle Moat House? Simply because that's sitting on a moat. There was a moat here. Therefore, that was the castle. And that's Victoria's monument. Then they had to bring them around. And I said, there's a plaque. Whoever looks at that? No one looks at the plaque. And on that plaque says, on this side stood the Liverpool Castle. With the castle in there. Engraved in the plaque. And that's it. That's why it's so annoying, but I will be getting rid of.
Yeah.
I will be getting rid of these myths and urban legends, whatever. The lot. The lot.
Brilliant.
Every single one of them. Oh, look at tennis, look. Folks, says tennis. Now, this fella is coming over in May to play at the Cavern. Folks, if you like these vids during Franco's tea break, but sure to watch the full version on his YouTube channel. And as always, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe. Isn't that lovely?
That's lovely. It's bang on right.
That's lovely. Thank you, Dennis Paparak. Thank you so much. And
Neighbour of the
sorry.
neighbour of the alligators.
Yeah, see you later, alligator. After a while, a crocodile. Anyway, Paulie. I went on summer solstice to the Stonehenge. You can go right up and hug the stones. I found that a life-changing experience. But the modern druids, though, nice people, need a better clothes designer. But if you were to go back to the druids, you would have been thrown on a slab. Sacrifice. Paulie.
You know what? For all of my life, I have found the myths and everything around Stonehenge to be fascinating. I mean, like the pyramids, it goes back to an alignment to the stars and the planets, and you think it's most definitely something that we do not understand at the moment. Aside from the death part, human sacrifice.
Well, that's why. And Dennis says, buona serata a tutti vino. Arenzialata vi aspettano. You know, he's going for a glass of wine now. It's great, Dennis, isn't he? Alligators, He's going to have a little glass of wine with a few alligators. I'm all right, thanks, Bella. I'm pleased you seem to be on the up. Of course she is.
Good. We're pleased that you all are on the up.
Was the future of cinema the beautiful white building where Little is now? Yeah. There used to be one facing called the Palais de Luxe or the Palais de Lou. There
Yeah.
it is. It's great, Jason. Yes, that was the very first cinema in the city centre to be built. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why couldn't they just leave? I know that they say they always say it's dangerous, and you go, yeah, okay. It was like the Casatali buildings, the bottom of Duke Street.
Yeah.
It was the original brilliant history, the Casatali.
Yeah.
And they had all Italian instruments there. Because you know why they were there? The Casatali building. Because when the Italians came over on the way to America, you know, to earn a few bob if they couldn't get a job or whatever, you know, to get to America, Casatali used to, hire out.
Yeah.
You know, these like mandolins and barrel organs, and you know, so that the Italians could earn a few bob.
Yeah.
Our family had a barrel organ. And used to go around, you know, very, you know, winding it and playing the lovely Italian music and the mandolins and things like that. And they pulled it down. I was having a murder. I said, don't pull it. Oh, it's become unsafe. Wasn't. Anyway, they rebuilt it. The Casatali building. They rebuilt it. They didn't have to rebuild it. They could have just saved it. And then did the inside, you know, leave the facade. Just like Exchange Station.
Yeah. So we were lucky enough to be based opposite that beautiful building for a little while. I think about 12 or 18 months. Yeah.
Where?
When we were in the Hanover galleries, and you'd look across.
Yeah. And you look across.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a shame that it went. It's a shame that it went. Do you know what I want to do, Anthony? I really need to talk about these wonderful people who sponsor every podcast. Gap painting services, fully time served lads. No cowboys whatsoever, because there's loads of cowboys going around. Fully insured, just in case anything goes wrong. If you're an NHS worker or an elderly person, get them in because you get a special discount. They'll always give you references as well, 5-star references. That's Gap Painting Services, the sponsors of every podcast that I do. And if you don't fit into those categories of NHS or being elderly, just get them in to give you the price. No obligation whatsoever. They'll just come down, give you the price, and you don't have to say, oh yeah, I'll have it. They just say to you, just phone us up and let us know, rather than embarrassing you there and then. That's Gap Painting Services.
Brilliant. We meet some fantastic people, Frank.
Yeah. Oh, look. I missed him. He'd be gone now. Veni Vidi Viking. That's a little Roman thing, you know. I came, I saw, I conquered. That was by the wonderful Caesar. I came, I saw, I conquered.
Oh, God. I came, I drank, I fell asleep.
That's when you got the grouse. That's why Jason put the grouse up. Just to remind you. Paulie, good evening, all. Frank and Anthony and chat. Lovely, thank you.
Good evening, Paul. Thank you.
And Bella says to Toscana to Bella, I'm okay, thank you. Italy, Northern Ireland, tomorrow night, 1945 kickoff. Time, Forza Rizzoli. Yes, Forza Rizzoli. I'm doing a podcast as well. 7:45. I might just do an hour's pod. I don't know, but it's about Mo Salah, and I've got 2 guests on with me as well. But I'll be doing that. But I'll get the half time in anyway. Definitely get the half time to watch the Azzurri.
I think, from my humble opinion, that people will be talking about Mo Salah the way that we still talk about the likes of George Best.
Yeah, Georgie Best.
Time has gone, you know.
Do you ever remember when I'm not going on about this, but do you ever remember when the Troubles were going on at the time? I always remember Georgie Best being interviewed. And he was only young. And do you know what he said? You know, he was talking about football. And he said, do you know what? He said, I'd be throwing stones most probably if I wasn't playing football. He was honest about it.
Yeah.
But you see how things can change your life. How many times have we talked about a path?
Yes.
There's our castle, look.
Ah. Now, if we were there now, we could have opened a little fashion outlet there for Paulie and whoever.
Druids.
Yeah.
There's something for you. What happens? You know, you saying that. The monks of Birkenhead, Priory Range, isn't it? The Priory.
Yeah, it's the bottom of this road, yeah.
Right, okay. Now, do you know what they became when the castle was built?
They were kind of the first boat people, weren't they?
Yeah, the ferry service.
Working ahead to
Yeah,
Liverpool.
ferry service. And brilliant the way they did it, because they put a rope by the castle there. Big, you know, they took us in, big rope, right across the Mersey. And they used to bring farmers over with the goods, the wares, even cows and sheep.
Wow.
Right?
Like a farmer's market. And
oh, yeah. Because when they had fairs, they actually turned around and said, do you know what? There's a few bob to be made here. To keep the Priory going, by the way.
Yeah.
And do you know what they opened up? It's great, this. Inside the castle. They asked for permission. They went, yeah, all right, go ahead. Do what you want. Do you know what it was?
No.
A brewery and a bakery to bake bread.
Wow.
Because you had all the farmers, you had people coming in, going around and buying stuff.
Wow.
Obviously, they were buying the ware, the bread. They were also buying the beer.
Wow.
That's what they did. So they were entrepreneurs at the time, the monks of the priory.
Yeah. There's an old legend, myth, that when Henry was doing the damage to all the prairies and the churches and everything, that there was quite a fortune in gold and stuff at the priory that was hidden by the monks before it was seized, because obviously that's what was going on, wasn't it? And no one has ever found it in history.
Really?
Yeah, there's reports that it was maybe in a trunk and then it was buried underwater, in which case we're never going to find it, are we? Yeah.
Well, I watched a film, right, that lovely Sidney James was in it, right? There was what's that beautiful actress name? She was in the Sylvia Sims when she was young.
Yeah.
Did you ever see her in Ice Cold and Alex with John Mills?
I think I did. Yeah.
And there was a nurse in it, in the ambulance, and she was a
Yeah.
lovely looking girl, wasn't she?
Yes.
Right. So she was in this film, and also who was in it? I always forget this fella's name. Used to watch him every week. It's just funny. Oh, you are awful, but I like you. Who was that?
Oh, Dick Henry.
That's him. What
Dick
a man.
Yeah.
See, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Dick Emery was in it, right? And it was so funny. Because what has happened? They got collared, they robbed a bank. So they hid the money in the trunk of a tree. You see them holes in the trees,
Yeah.
that a branch never actually grew from. So there's a hole there. And so they buried the money. Well, they put the money in there and they all got collared. So they, after 10 years of being in jail, they get out and they go, come on, let's get our lolly. So they go to get the lolly. And there's a big wall. So they're walking around this wall. And it's a big, place around. And what's in the middle of this little compound, believe it or not, was a police station. Right. So we're gonna but the tree was still there, one tree, and it was still there, the same tree. So anyway, they hired this, rent this, like a room, in this house facing it. And you should see them kind of. And Sir James comes on, he goes, "Sit the lads, just the lads." He said, "I've got a great idea, boys." Dick Emery said, "What's that?" You can imagine Dick Emery comes out here. What's that, Gov? What's that, Gov? And he said, and anyway, what he got, he said, he got a harpoon, right? A harpoon. How we got that, I don't know. And he got us up the stairs, this big harpoon thing. And what they were going to do, they were going to fire it into the tree. And so they'd have to go along the rope, right? Go down, drop down, get the money, and go back again. Right? That was the plan. Oh, it's a good
You'd
plan.
have to, nothing.
What?
You'd have to be 2 stone nothing.
Oh, honestly, he should have Dick Emery. And Sylvia Sims comes in, who was Sid James's girlfriend, you know, a dizzy blonde. And she went, "Oh, Sid, what's that?" And he said, "It's an harpoon." And she goes and looks at it, and she's looking at that, you know, the big bolt with the big point. And she said, "Well, what's that for?" He said, "Well, that's to catch." And he said, "You know, that's to catch whales and things." And she went, "Oh." And she was looking at it like that. And she went, you know what, when they were doing this, they must have been falling about, because she went, "Where'd you put the worm? Where'd you put the worm?" You know, to catch the whale. She really thought that they were going to catch whales with. Where'd you put the worm? Oh, that's the funniest thing about it.
We'd have been kicked out of that gang. We wouldn't have got a tenner.
No, we wouldn't have got nothing. even you know, you mentioned Dick Emery, and he stands in there and he's like, "Yeah, where'd you put it?" Never had a clue.
Oh, God. Oh,
It's so funny. One of the funniest things I've ever seen. And that Russ Abbott, please, people, please, out there, get on YouTube and search Russ Abbott and the lie detector. It's the funniest thing I've seen. Russ Abbott and the lie detector. Just get it on YouTube. It's only a small thing, you know, from the Russ Abbott show. Sketch. Not long. Him and Les Dennis, the lie detector. Russ Abbott and the lie detector. I think it's just called Russ Abbott, the lie detector. That's all it's called. You'll easily get it. Anthony, if you see it,
oh, I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it. I haven't watched it yet, but we will talk to Laney about it. And we used to so love his programs. We love him.
but you know, have you ever been on the bus in your lifetime, and you've got on, and someone said something funny like the day before or whatever, or you've been thinking of something and it's funny, and you start laughing?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Put it this way. If I'd be on a bus tomorrow, I'd be thinking about that and laughing. And I'd be laughing about the worm as well. Where'd you put the worm?
That's brilliant. Just simple things. Brilliant.
Simple,
Love them.
stupid things. And as Bella says, you both make me laugh so much. Oh, thank you.
Bella, that's what it's all about. I mean, we do serious, but not, you know.
And Polo says, "Hey, Frank, and I love Roman history. And before that, Etruscans, yeah. Etruscans, yeah. the Romans, I could do one. If you, but you've got to let me know now. I could do a full Roman, what I used to lecture about, if you want me to.
Yes.
It's incredible. But, the chatters will have to let me know. Because it's incredible what the Romans did. And I'm talking not just here, Roman Britain, but I'm talking about the empire. I'm talking about one of the greatest of all. As I said, Vespasian was a great, great emperor. And Vespasian was at the time of 79 AD or AD 79. And what it was, that was the start of Vesuvius going up.
Yeah.
As he was emperor.
Yeah.
Talk about Marcus Aurelius.
Absolutely.
Now, as you know, Marcus Aurelius was a great philosopher.
Yes.
So, we'll be talking about, as I said, Vespasian, Caligula. And Caligula, that was a nickname, by the way. It wasn't his proper name, which means little sandals, little boots, because the Praetorian Guard called him that, because he wanted to be a Roman, a little Roman, when he was a child. And he was going around, the Praetorian Guard loved him. And they gave him the nickname because they made him sandals like the Romans were. And they called him Caligula, which meant Roman boots or Roman sandals. His proper name was Gaius.
Do you know
Gaius.
what?
So we're talking about a few emperors. Sorry.
I am absolutely fascinated by that particular gentleman, purely because we've talked before in the past that when we were at school or when we went through the education system, we're taught these are bad people, that's a bad person, that's a bad person. Napoleon and the like. And when you delve a little bit and you find not at all the person that they are written about in the history books, I would love.
Well, see, people, they don't realise. I'm sorry. I don't like saying that, because our chatters are, well clued up, as you know, well clued up on everything. And as Polo said, can you do anything on the Romans? Yeah, of course I can, because it's a subject matter that I know very well.
Yeah.
But I'll only talk about a few emperors. One of the main emperors as well is Hadrian, who became emperor in 117. And he said, I've had enough of this empire building. And he said, because his idea, well, it's not his idea. Why he said it, Anthony, was, he said, as we're going further and further and further out, he said, messages coming from the other side down. If there was a battle commencing with the Romans by a different, a different group of people who were battle hardened, he's talking about tribes, that is. He said, by the time the message got to us, by the time we went, it'll be all over with the Roman soldiers dead. Now then, what are they saying to Trump today? If they go to this Carg Island, he said, all all the specialists are saying if they attempt to go onto that Cargyle Island, they'd all be killed. They'd all be killed. You see?
Yeah.
And it's just like what he said.
History repeats itself.
History repeats itself indeed. It always has done. It's like what's going on today, Anthony. And who's in charge of things? Who's in charge of things? I was listening to Pete Heskett, and he said, the only negotiations that we're doing is with bombs. That's that Pete Heskett. With bombs. Did you hear him saying that today?
No.
So he's saying that. Now it's the same fella who said, we'll kill them all. We'll kill them all. It's the same fella who totally went against maritime history, Anthony, maritime history, when there was 2 survivors from a ship, fishermen, when they started to blow them up in the Caribbean. And there was 2, and they were floating on debris. The maritime law is to pick them up out of the sea. That's the law. That's the maritime law. Even when the Germans, torpedoed our ships, they had to go and pick them up. Survivors, their enemy, who were the British. The same as the British, when they sent their ships, they had to pick up, or they sent a radio message for one of our ships to come in and pick them up. These gunboats.
Yeah.
Survivors. That's the maritime law. It's been going since Roman times.
Yeah.
And what did he say? Hesketh, get rid of them. Kill them. He should be in jail now for that. That's a war crime. He should be sitting in jail waiting to be tried at The Hague for that.
Yes.
Because what did they do? They killed them.
Yeah. Totally agree, Frank.
And this is, what did Shakespeare say? Hell is empty. All the devils are here.
Yeah.
What can you do? Do you know what, Anthony?
Yeah. We could make them billionaires and trillionaires and multi-trillionaires and hope that the weight of jewelry that they wear will kill them. A bit long-winded, though. I'd rather go the Hague route.
Tennessee's all right. But apart from the sanitation, medicine, education, wine, public order, irrigation, roads, the fresh water system, and the public health, what have the Romans ever done for us?
Art.
Oh, incredible art, actually.
Culture. Both artistically and the written word. Yeah.
Yeah. Polo says, Frank, the Metatron channel is brilliant with Roman history, fluent in classical Latin. Well, that's what I was saying about the likes of the wonderful Hadrian, because he said, no more expansion. This is nuts, this. Emperor Hadrian. Dennis has gone, well gone. Right, I'm going to go right now because I'm...
All right, Gaffer.
Sorry about this, people, but I've really a lovely little Donna says, please, Frank, do Roman history show. Okay. Okay, I'll do it. And Paulie, I'd love a full Roman evening, please. Okay. Okay. And Paulie says, these two guys crack me up. Thanks very much. Who's he talking about there, Anthony?
Must be Jason and someone else, mustn't it?
Yeah, Jason, yeah. I think it's Jason and Dennis Paparak. And Bella says, art, stone, saw, and two noble men. Oh, yeah, look. This is our poem.
Oh,
Got to put my glasses on again. Art, stone, and soul, two noble men, a storied whole, with many tales to enrich the soul. Antonio paints on Franco shares of Liverpool stone and city squares.
we absolutely love you being with us, Bella, and your work, your poetry is a
Great.
gift. It's beautiful.
And Paulie, why was our castle knocked down? Believe it or not, Paulie, you know, you're going back to 1724 and you had preservationists then, and they were saying, don't pull it down. Don't pull it down. And, you know, and they gave a great reason why it wasn't to be pulled down. And it was the first iconic building to be built in Liverpool, the first. And it was very historical. Very historical. Don't pull it down. But what they said was, oh, well, it's full of vermin. And also it's full of, look at it, it's being neglected and it's falling down. I wonder if Jason's there. Jason, is there any way, please, if you're listening in, is there any way that you can put up a picture of where you went with little fucking hell.
Oh.
Noah, I couldn't think of his little grandson, little Noah. Is there any way that you can put up
Yeah.
the castle?
Yeah. Leave a human's replica.
Yeah. Is there any way you can do that, please? Because this was built. This castle. There you go.
Wow.
Now that was built, believe it or not, as it was left. And that was on lands owned by Lord Liverpool. I've got pictures of it actually, but they're in there. I can't go and get them. I have pictures of it somewhere.
Did you used to do a specific tour to that?
Yeah, I used to bring my students up there. Used to bring me students up there and had to walk around. And used to bring them in. Brilliant it was. People were amazed.
Yeah.
And Jason brought his little nephew up. Sorry, his little grandson up. I said, did he enjoy it? He said, oh, he loved it. No, his little grandson.
I remember the photos Jason put up for us
Yeah.
on the show.
Because that's an aerial view, but when you see it at ground level, you'll see how it is.
Yeah.
And you see parts missing. And that's the way, an exact replica of what was left in Liverpool. They say, no, it's been, you know, it's fallen down. It wasn't.
Do you know, I visually see when you mention that is St. Luke's Church, top of Bow Street.
There you go.
And
you go.
The events and things that are still going on there.
Jason said, give me 2 minutes and I'll find my pics. Thank you, Jay.
You can imagine everything, a music event, a Shakespearean play being portrayed in the grounds of the castle.
Yeah. Yes. And you know what else, Anthony? We've had so much knocked down.
Yeah.
That should have been preserved. I've murdered. You know what they were going to knock down, don't you? When was it? I forget what year. And they wanted to knock down the Lyceum, the bottom of Bold Street.
Yes.
They wanted to knock it down.
Beautiful building.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks, Jay. Where about Jay? Oh, there they are. There they are. Hang on. Right, that's the original plan of the castle. Right?
Yeah.
That's the original plan. And these are the photographs that Jason took.
Of Liverpool.
Taking these. Look at that.
Oh.
Look at that.
Because everything is to scale, isn't it, Frank?
Everything is to scale. Everything. That's a fireplace.
Wow.
I remember that myself. Look at that. There it is. Now, that's exactly how it was, the castle. And they were saying, please don't pull it down. The preservationists then. Isn't it fantastic?
Oh,
Aren't
wow.
these pictures fantastic? Look, see, that's exactly how it was, Anthony. It's in a place called Horwich, right?
Yeah.
And I was on, do you ever remember Willie Miller and Sean Stiles? They had a Sunday show.
Yeah, yeah.
The Willie and Sean Stiles, the Willie and Sean show, Sunday.
Yeah.
And he said, come on down, and I said, yeah, because they wanted to go for a drink with me. So I said, okay. So I went and did this show. And they said, did you go and visit the castle? I said, yeah. He said, what was that like? I said, oh, it's fantastic. I said, told them where it was, where it's situated. And I showed them pictures. I said, yeah, here's the pictures. And I showed them my own pictures that I've got in my bedroom. And he said, Willie said, tell you what, Sean, so we hired the 2 Arctics and we could take it down brick by brick and bring it back to Liverpool, can't we? And Sean said, oh, that'd be a great idea. And he said to me, what do you think, Frank? I said, yeah. I said, we could rebuild it in Liverpool because it belongs to Liverpool, because when you go in, you'll see a massive plaque saying replica of Liverpool Castle. So anyway, the following week, someone rang in and said, the Orange paper, the Orange newspaper.
Yeah.
Said, Sean Styles, Willie Miller of Radio Merseyside, and get on to this, and that historian wants to take away, they mention my name, wants to take away the Liverpool Castle. He was murdered. While one was listening in, always listening to Willie and Sean, and they want to take away the castle. And it was in the orange paper. So funny. I used to have it, a lady gave me it. She said, yeah, there you are. Willie and Sean, whatever, hysterical. And it was blue, the paper was actually blue. It wasn't white, it was printed in blue.
I used to love listening to Willie and Sean. I never met much with Willie, but Sean was a lovely, kind gentleman. He was always supportive of whatever harebrained scream I was up to. Not necking it. Sean Styles, just solid. It's great.
So was Willie though, Willie Miller.
Yeah, I never had much time. No, I never physically met with Willie, but Sean was lovely. He'd have me on the show and stuff to promote stuff. And, yeah.
That's an exact replica of Liverpool Castle.
Just amazing.
It is, isn't it? Only look.
And the photos, Willie and Jason, absolutely brilliant photos. Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
There's steps there that go up, to.
Yeah.
There you go in there, because that's one of the main things, you look over the battlements, the turrets.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's the top of it. Do you see that tower there?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's what you end up when you walk up these stairs. See the stairs on the right?
Yeah.
And you end up on the top of there. How about that?
Just.
Thank you, Jason. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
What a great vision of Lord Leverhulme to do it, because he wanted to do it in Liverpool, didn't he? But Liverpool wouldn't let him. Is that right?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I was just listening to. I was just reading something there. Go on. What did you say, Ant?
Lord Leverhulme wanted to build the castle.
Yeah, he wanted to build it. That's why he went up to Rivington Pike, where it is, Rivington. Yeah. That's why he wanted to go. That's why he had to go there, because they said no, it's earmarked. everywhere that you want. Because he wanted to put it on the site of, do you know where the law courts are now?
Yeah.
But there was warehouses there at the time. And he said no. And so we said, okay, how about Hillfoot, which is, out in the suburbs. And he said, no, it's earmarked for housing, which is a shame. And SBO, whoever this chap is, says, hello to grumpy old men's from Manchester. Grumpy old men's from Manchester.
They're kind of that way.
You're in the wrong city, fella. And we're not grumpy old men's. You don't know us. SBO. Not a typical arsehole from Manchester. And Paulie says, thanks, Jason. Great photos. There you go.
Yeah.
And on that note, Anthony, and on that note, we'll close. Can I ring you after the cup of tea?
Yeah. I've got to jump back on here soon anyway, do some work, but I am gonna make a cup of tea myself. Yeah.
So it won't be long. It won't be long, mate. Honestly.
I'm just on the countdown.
Go on. Sorry.
I'm just on the countdown days now, so I'm working.
Oh, I know.
Shift things.
I know.
Of course.
Just want to thank these wonderful gap painting services who sponsor every single podcast that I do. Every single one. Fully time served, no cowboys. Fully insured just in case anything goes wrong. If you're an elderly person or persons, a couple, if you're an NHS worker, you get a special discount. Don't struggle trying to paint, especially the outside. Get these lads in. And if you're not an NHS worker or you're not an elderly, get these people in, please. Please get them in. Don't struggle.
Yeah.
And Paulie says, well, good night, everyone. Thanks, Frank and Anthony. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulie. Thanks for being with us.
And Bella says, buonanotte, Franco and Antonio, and all you beautiful family, sweet dreams. Thank you, Bella. Made up that you're okay now. And I'm made up that Marcella is, putting out for you. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. And little Donna. Good night, lovely people.
Good night, Donna.
And Jason says, good night, gents. Good night, all.
Good night, Jason. Having you with us. The photos, fantastic.
And tomorrow night, all you football fans, I've got this. I've got a podcast, football. Don't forget, Friday night is current affairs, which is hard hitting what we were talking about before, which we came into. And on that wonderful note, Anthony, who do we thank most?
We thank our wonderful chat family. And you know, as ever, it's a journey we love because we don't know where we're going to. The buses will stop. You know, we go love it.
But we went all about everything there, though, didn't we?
You know what? We touched on a lot of stuff which I kind of hoped we would. I mean, you and I talk privately as well as on chat about doing something significant with the Roman history,
Yeah.
and I'm so glad that the chat family are behind that too. And
Yep.
yeah,
And we will talk about them.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And on that wonderful note, Anthony, we've got to thank the chatters because without them, Anthony, what would happen?
No show, Frank,
No show whatsoever.
and you, me, and Jason would be sitting on a park bench freezing because I can feel it getting colder as we're here. There you go.
Plebs. Watch Plebs, ladies and gents. Watch Plebs. The funniest thing I've ever saw.
Is it good?
Oh, fantastic.
I've never watched it.
Did you see him? He's
Yeah.
a slave. He's a slave, innit? Right.
Yeah.
And the fella he works for, or slave, he's a slave too. He does all the work, the fella. You know, he doesn't do any work, the slave. And I said, come on, I need that too. And I don't want to, because you can tell he's a dopey looking fella, can't you? I don't want to do it. So the fella has to do it, ends up doing it, honestly. Watch the first few series, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely, so funny. But they use modern day language. They use Grumio. That's it, Steve. Grumio. You can tell by his name, look. Grumio. Please watch it. And also, please, if you can, please watch Russ Abbott, The Lie Detector.
Defo will watch
And let
that.
me know when I'm on again if you've watched it, because I'll guarantee you, if you haven't got a car and you've got to get a bus into town or out of town or anywhere else, you will laugh when you're thinking about it. You'll just laugh on your own, and people will look at you. So funny. Thanks, Jason, for throwing that up. And on that wonderful note, thank you, Steve, for mentioning his name, Grumio. And all you wonderful people, I'll see some of you tomorrow, most probably. Hope to see you on Friday. And I'll be doing another recorded thing as well. Football. Thank you so much. I'll see you all. I'll give you the ring in about 10 minutes or so, like that, Anthony. Is that okay?
Get on, Frank. Yeah.
Good night, Anthony. Thank you.
Good night, Frank. Thank you. I really loved it. Thanks, Jason. And thank you, one and all. Been a brilliant night. Thank you.
See you all. Bye-bye, people. Thank you.